You are watching this video because you are fascinated, interested, intrigued in the concept that there is continuing to be a trend, specifically here in the United States, that men are absolutely refraining from alcohol. And I think specifically men such as myself who are very much focused on staying fit and healthy. Guys like me who weight train and run and walk and count their macros. Specifically what we're seeing is guys like us are saying, I'm just done with alcohol now. So I want to talk about that. This is the 6th month. Today is 6 months exactly, June 14th, 2024, since I've had any alcohol whatsoever. And for me, it wasn't because I was an alcoholic or that I was drinking too much. It was that I was drinking regularly, a little bit most days. But the fact is, when I removed it all from my system, I noticed differences. I noticed that I physically felt better, specifically that I psychologically felt better. It'd been like 19 years of me having alcohol in my system, a little bit. And even the most I'd gone before that was actually 3 months. That was last year. I went 3 months to try that out. And then I went back to just trying to have a little, which I did successfully have a little. But ultimately, I learned I was just flat out happier when I have absolutely zero alcohol in my body. I want to say this too, about a year ago is when I think it just reached me in the darkest place. I remember feeling very detached. I looked up the definition of psychosis, wasn't quite there. But as far as a sense of detachment from the world, as far as I'd say nihilistic perspective on life, like what's the point, we all die anyway. It was hard for me to even find joy in life. It was like the upside down on Stranger Things is what it was like. And so in that moment, I remember where I was about a year ago, and I thought, I'm going to just not have alcohol for a few days. I also cut out caffeine as well. And turns out I had to I had to basically count my caffeine and cut it in half. So 2 shots of espresso a day, that's all I've been doing for about a year. And that definitely helped. But what I've personally seen is that there was a connection between anxiety and depression and unsettledness by having too much caffeine, which was, now I've cut that in half, and then having any alcohol, even just a little bit, was enough to cause me to feel unsettled and nervous. Even just a little bit of alcohol would cause me to always feel a little bit that way. So once I cut out all alcohol, that all went away, and I don't deal with anxiety anymore at all. Whereas I'd been dealing with it for years, and it's not because I had suddenly started drinking more. I think that over the years what happened is just I somehow had less of a tolerance, even though I wasn't drinking too much necessarily. Like I said, it may have been like 2 beers a day or something like that, or a shot of whiskey and a beer or something like that. And then there would be days of none of it, sometimes several days. But I always had a little bit in my system. So once I cut that out specifically, I can tell you I don't have anxiety, no sense of depression or detachment or anything like that. I'm just so happy. And specifically, I can see that it has possibly something to do with me even doing my weight training and my running, my walking every day, and my counting my macros. I'm so focused on eating healthy and lean and exercising, moving, that it's like my body and my brain recognize alcohol, any amount of it, as toxic, as poison. And I can see in hindsight my body was having to recalibrate I guess hormones, testosterone, whatever it is, and that constant recalibration was keeping me in this state of anxiety and low-level depression and detachment, whatever you want to call it. So I think that there are a lot of people who, once they cut out all alcohol, they find similar results as I have found. And so yes, it's been 6 months as of today. Absolutely, I do not miss alcohol whatsoever. And I've been in social situations, restaurants, or even bars, hanging out with people, where now it's very easy to get the non-alcoholic version. They have Athletic Brewing Company, Heineken, like they all have some kind of non-alcoholic, and it is 0%, it's no alcohol. And of course it has no effect on me whatsoever. And I can enjoy that, and I don't feel bad about that. But I don't drink any alcohol whatsoever, even if it's like the super light like 2% or 4% alcohol. It won't do it. It's got to say 0% before I'll do it. And even then, I don't need it every day. It's just, it's there if I want it. But as far as actual alcohol, no. And I think a lot of people in my situation, and that's what's making companies like Athletic Brewing Company so popular, is there's so many people like me who are like, also the calories, because when you look at alcohol-free beer, you see just a fraction of the calories. There's hardly anything. It's like 50 calories, 45 calories. And that's just another reason why I'm that much more committed. Also, aside from psychologically and physically feeling better, is that, well, then that's less empty calories I'm putting in my body as well. So this is the trend. This is what we've seen. No one told me to do it. No one encouraged me to do it. Last summer, it kind of just got to a point where, I guess, like I said, my body had overall less tolerance. I'm 43 years old now. I don't know if somehow just a little bit on a regular basis chipped away to where my body was like, you're done. And again, it may be because I'm so focused on eating the right things, get enough protein, the right types of fiber, and good healthy fat, and exercising, that my body is just like, why are you doing this? This is like totally knocking down what we're doing here. And so I can absolutely see how it's had that effect. So I would love to hear from anybody in the comment section who can relate to what I'm saying. And it's interesting because I think for a lot of people, it's that they can't handle the alcohol. And I'm not one of those people. Like I said, it's not like I was getting drunk. I wasn't getting violent. My personality wasn't even changing. Like, you could see me after a couple beers and I was basically just the same. Like, you really couldn't tell the difference. But on the inside, after I drank the alcohol, it was like the next day and the day after, I would feel like this anxiety and this heaviness. It was so subtle, though, that it wasn't obvious that, oh, there's a connection here. And again, I've cut my caffeine in half, so that definitely, I'm sure, has regulated things to where that they should be. Closing statement is something I like to bring up here on this channel as far as maintaining control of your own life and recognizing what masculine energy is, which is being calm, stable, and using logical solutions, as opposed to feminine energy, which is chaotic conflict and emotional turmoil. I've made a video about this before, but when you consume alcohol, it's ultimately feminine energy. You're giving that control over your own body and mind, even if it's just a little bit. You're saying, you know what? I need a little help. I need something to take the edge off. Whereas for me, using masculine energy, having full control, being calm, stable, and being logical, I'm like, I don't need alcohol to be social. I don't need alcohol to relax. In fact, closing statement, when's the last time I've slept this solidly as I do now, having absolutely no alcohol in my system? All right, I'd love to hear from you. That's my story 6 months in. Your comments belong right here.